welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Tiana, and today I'm going to be telling you the story of how God was there for me all along. I like to believe that we don't come to God, but He was there from the beginning. It's just when the moment you get saved, you start noticing God, and you start noticing Him even before you even believed. If you call on Him, He will answer. Even your hardest questions, why is life so hard? What is the meaning of life? What is the purpose? Is it all coincidence? God is not afraid to answer your questions. So you might as well just ask, because if you never ask, you never know. So I was searching for these answers at this time in my life, and I just wanted to get away from my environment at the time. God, why do bad things happen? Why did I have to go through the things that we do? Why is there so much pain and suffering? And what is the purpose of life? And to find these answers and questions that I had, I went on a journey to go live with extended family in Spain that I've never met. Maybe I did when I was little, but I don't remember. But what I will remember is when I first reconvened with them, I was received at the airport with open arms, excitement, joy. I was not used to people ever receiving me like that. And I felt like there was something definitely different in them. The presence in them was peaceful, it was loving, accepting, welcoming. I knew that they believed in God, and I grew up with extended family my whole life who believed in God, so I didn't expect them to be so kind. Back home with extended family who went to church, and I went with them sometimes. When I would go, it was a different feeling. I felt outcasted. I didn't feel like I belonged there, and I felt judged. And right then and there, I just knew, I could feel the presence, the difference between a relationship with Jesus and the difference between just a religion. Religion doesn't save people. Believing that Jesus died on the cross saves people. God has given you a free gift of grace to forgive your sin when you believe in Him, if you accept Him in your life. God didn't come for the perfect people. Nobody's perfect. He came for the lost, the broken, the abused. So no one should think that their religion is better than anyone else's, or better than you because they attend church more than you. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 9. Salvation is not a reward for the good things we have done, so none of us can boast about it. For it is by grace that you have been saved through faith, and it is not from yourself, it is a gift from God, not by works. This means there's no amount of good deeds that you can do that will get you into heaven. No, you can't do any bragging for charity and what you've done and how you help people, or your church attendance and how involved you are in the church. Because if your heart is not in the wrong place, then it doesn't matter. It's about the condition of your heart. And all that you've done can be wiped clean and be made new, because God has infinite amount of grace and forgiveness for you when you believe in Him. And that doesn't mean all your fleshly desires just go away once you become saved, you become just the most happy, perfect person, because you go through a process where God is continuously growing you and teaching you things. And I say this because I notice, like, when people say they are a Christian or when they become a Christian, people hold them to a standard that they don't even hold themselves to, or hold you to the standard that they hold God to. We're not Jesus, and we should strive to be like him and grow every day and try to be, you know, the best we can be, but always try to be the best person you can be. That doesn't mean just because we have grace that we can continue in a life filled with sin. But I just don't like when people hold you against your mistakes that you've made, or even having trouble with unforgiveness. Yes, God calls us to forgive, but forgiveness doesn't mean enabling someone to keep hurting you, and forgiveness doesn't mean that you can completely trust that person again. You can forgive someone at a distance, and don't let anyone guilt you into thinking that what forgiveness looks like, even if it's family, that's how long it takes you, how you choose to do it, because you do have the right to guard your heart, and also the right to distance yourself from negative influences in your life. True family are people who encourage you to do the will of God, and they also do that as well, or they, you know, obviously get transformed by seeing you grow, and don't stay in a place where you're constantly, you know, teaching them about what God is doing in your life, and instead of receiving it, they want to shush you. People who speak poorly about you and don't know who you are in Christ, it's weird because, like, I actually meet people who are just church family that encourage you in just a matter of minutes, like far greater than someone who is actually blood family. So God says in the Bible, my mother and brother and sister are those who do the will of God. If you can be you and be happy and be who you are, then you can be around them, and you have the freedom to grow and be who you are and be who you want to be, who you're supposed to be. Sometimes people don't like seeing you grow because it makes them look at themselves and wonder why, you know, they're not growing, or subconsciously they're jealous that they can't make those improvements, but they can. You know, all things are possible with God. When we ask for him to change our heart, you know, of course he's going to do it. Okay, so back to the story. I started noticing these coincidences, and I see now how it was God trying to reach me. For example, when I was on the plane, I saw a movie about time, and how time was a form of currency on your wrist, like a watch, and it was like going down with every second. And for me, I just thought of how life would be so different if we could see the amount of time we had left on our wrist, how every breath is accounted for, everything that happens does happen for a reason, every person you meet, nothing is a coincidence, and we will be accountable for every word. So it just made me realize, like, use your time wisely. Who you are around does affect who you are, even if you don't think so. Over time it will take a toll on you. Most importantly, spending time with God, spending time with people that bring out the best in you. And the coincidence was that when I landed from the plane and went to church the next day, the sermon was about time, God's timing being perfect, trusting in his timing, even in your waiting, even when you don't understand. Finally, on this trip to Spain, my family and cousins, we went on a 1-week hike to Andorra, and there was nothing, like no cell phone, no Wi-Fi, just like wilderness, and this huge backpack on you that weighed like half of my body weight. I remember carrying this backpack and just like really just dreading being there and just thinking to myself really negatively and saying that, you know, I felt so alone and I've traveled all this way here just to still be miserable. I was stuck in the victim mentality and looking down at the ground when I felt a still small voice say, "Look up, child." I look up and I see just the sun in the clouds piercing through, mountains, beautiful like mountains that just went on forever, and it looked like I was in a painting. I couldn't even believe my eyes. I was just so struck and so in awe of like creation that I just knew that all of this was part of God's plan, and it absolutely cannot be by accident how Earth was created, how it was created so meticulous. Like being in the midst of these huge rock formations made me feel like so small yet so important, that God would answer my question and yet he's so big. Like how would I comprehend? The God of the universe understands way more than me, understands how the mountains form and how lava comes out and how it melts, and he understands all that. So how could I understand just the situation that I was in? That's why God tells us to trust in him. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5, trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not depend on your own understanding. Seek his will in all you do, and he will show you which path to take. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be open to you. When I was going through this mountain, I felt like a weariness, a tiredness, worn out, and just a heavy weight on my shoulders physically and mentally. While I was carrying my huge backpack, someone offered, to carry it for me, and I just thought that was so kind and like so alien to me and so weird that someone would want to offer to take that burden away from me. And that was exactly that moment that God wanted to do just that with my soul. Just give it to him and would take that burden away from me. As I looked up to see his beauty, I felt the heaviness come off of me and just melt away, and I could no longer feel the backpack on me. I totally forgot about it. It's like I didn't even notice it anymore. Like God was helping me carry it. If you want God to renew you where you are in your life, or you want to give your life to him today, pray with me. I believe that Jesus died to forgive my sin on the cross. I believe that he rose again to give me life and make me a new creation. If you just prayed that prayer, or you want to renew, give your life to Christ again, you can feel free to comment, message us below, and know that you're not alone, that Jesus loves you. The next step would be to connect with a church and let them know about your decision. We actually have connected with Elevation Church, and that's like our church fam. We just love their church so much. It has helped us grow, and we love you, fam, and I hope you enjoyed this message. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.